Hello, everybody, and welcome to the giant conversation that is Topic Talks. I'm your host, Aaron Klingesmith, and today I have
Brandon.
Brendan is joining me today, and we have not as much as usual, but still quite a bit of stuff to get through today. We got a lot of cool topics. First off, one of the topics is what did the CIA leave on a school bus? It was very dangerous and very scary for everybody. So you'll find that out a little bit later in the show. That'll be about our second topic. But first, we need to get on with the first one. So, when I was looking up stuff today for the show, I found this and I was kind of almost outraged. Um, and what it is it's a video was released where a judge was ordered a deputy to tase a defendant that was a guy who was defending himself. And um, I guess the guy was, um, he was defending himself, and the judge got very irritated by what the guy was saying and told him to shut up and told him um, and ordered the defendant to chase him. And it outraged me because I feel like there's a lot of, not a lot, but there are some judges who feel like they have a lot of power. And judges have power, but I feel like some abuse it. So, but in this case, some awesome steps were taken. So, the judge's name is Robert Neely. Robert Neely is a Maryland state judge, and like I said, he ordered a deputy to tase a defendant who was representing himself. And when he was trying to make a legal argument, like I said before, the judge told him to shut up.
A couple
And
times.
a couple times actually. There's a video online where I got this from was abc.com, and it was from Good Morning America. The the defendant refused to do so, to be quiet, and apparently he was wearing a pair of stun cuffs, which I didn't know was a real thing. For those of you that don't know, because I didn't, stun cuffs are apparently like ankle cuffs, ankle chains, but they're set so that you can, it's kind of like a dog shock collar is kind of what I'm getting from it, is you can just kind of press a button on a remote and it'll tase the person. Um,
50,000 volts.
yeah, it puts 50,000 volts through their body. It is really, I feel like that's a little bit inhumane. I mean, dogs, I don't know, dogs, it's not even that much. And you can adjust the levels. I don't even know what this is. And that's a lot of voltage. It is. If you guys watch the video, it shows the guy drop to the ground and he's screaming in pain. And I'm sorry, but for a judge to do that is just, in my eyes, it's wrong. What about you, Brandon? What's your opinion on the situation?
Yeah, I think that's just wrong to do that. Like, even at the very beginning, they even said that he was trying to, like, how would you like to be called? And he was trying to tell the judge's name. And the judge got mad and said, no, how would you like me to address you? And all the guy was trying to do was tell him his name.
Yeah, it's um, but after the video was leaked, the um, Judge Neely has been permanently banned from the bench for life by one of the highest courts in Maryland. And the judge pled guilty to civil rights violations and was sentenced to 1 year probation, $5,000 fine, in order to take an anger management class. I think that is some pretty. Actually, I don't even think that that's enough. I don't feel like that is a strong enough punishment. I do, however, agree with the fact that he should be banned from the bench for life. He should never ever be a judge ever again. Mostly because like, one, this was horrible. It was, but two, we don't even know how many times something like this might have happened before. So that's one thing that kind of, um, I don't know. I don't feel like the punishment was severe enough, but I do like how they banned him from the bench indefinitely. Um, in the video, there was a quote of him saying, "I'm sorry it had to end that way." But if you're sorry it had to end that way,
Don't
why
do
did
it.
you do it in the first place? You know what I mean? When you're a judge and you're sitting up there, it is your job to be fair and to bring justice, not to bring torture. You are not. I. I don't know. You're just a judge. You're not the judge, jury, and you know it's not your job to torture or order somebody else to torture a defendant. The defendant was trying to defend himself, which he has a right to do, and I feel like the judge violated that. So I like how he, kind of went peacefully and pled guilty and kind of understands, like, says, hey, yeah, I did this, but, and it's nice that he gave an apology, but, I mean, if you're getting to the point where you don't think you should, or things like this are happening, or you feel yourself getting angry, why not call a recess? You do have that power as a judge. So that's, I don't know, this is just one of the things that kind of really just like, I don't want to say this, but I will. It really grinds my gears when when somebody when somebody in a position like that kind of takes advantage of their power. And I've been thinking about ever since I read this. One of the things I've been thinking is, well, why did the deputy do it? And thinking about it, the deputy was just following basically orders. Because if he didn't, the judge could have held him in contempt of court. And so, because originally I'm like, well, why did the guy do it? Why didn't he just say no? On the other hand, he could have and said, no, this is wrong, but that's not for me to decide. I do like how they added that he has to take an anger management course, because I feel like this is something that if his temper is that short, if he is that short of a fuse, it is not, one, he should not be in that kind of position, but two, he does need to go to anger management classes because he obviously does have a problem. So that's just one story. If you guys want to check it out, like I always do, I'll post it in the comments, um, in on the post on Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker.com. Just look for my name, Aaron Klingingsmith, and the show should pop up. I'll post in the comments there. I'll try to post it on my Facebook. But go and take a look at the video. I think it's something that I don't know. I think it's really wrong of him, but I like how a higher court, when the video came out, they took it and said, well, you know what, this is what's going to go on. So on that note, anything else you got to say on that, Brandon?
Not really. I just know it's very wrong what happened.
It's horrible. Um, the our second topic today is the CIA accidentally leaves explosive material on a school bus. That was the question that I asked earlier. What did the CIA leave on a school bus? It was explosive material.
Was it really a school bus or was it like the actual like city bus that travels back and forth?
No, it was a school bus.
Oh,
It was underneath the hood. Um, Apparently, in Loudon, Virginia, the CIA or the CIA's K9 units were running some drills using the school bus, and they forgot to remove the material. And the students the students rode on the bus for 2 days before they discovered the material or the explosive material was there. That's kind of another one of those things. How do you leave explosive material on a school bus or anywhere? Shouldn't there be
well,
like a sign-in sheet or something, or somebody making sure, hey, do you have the explosive material we were using? Oh yeah, it's right here. Or oh no, crap, I forgot. How do you forget explosive material? I feel like that's something that
oh wait, I forgot it on the bus.
how do they not have somebody double checking, double checking, hey, we brought explosive material here. There is not explosive material brought back. Where did it go? You know what I mean? And then two, how did they remember it? Who discovered it?
What if it would have went off? I don't know,
What
people.
what if it would have went off? I doubt it was wired.
You don't know.
I honestly don't know. It was a very short story. But I mean, it was very dangerous for them to do that. Whether it was wired or not, leaving explosive material on a school bus is not a good idea. But I'm kind of dumbfounded at how, well, really, just how it got left on the bus. Like I said, you would think that there would be somebody going around when they're handling stuff like that, going, okay, down a checklist. You know, we got that, we got that, we got that explosive material. Do we pack that all up? Oh no, crap. Okay, let's pack it up. You know what
Don't
I mean?
worry about that. It's fine. We'll just get it later.
But seriously though, how do you leave explosive material? It's not like a shoe. You can't just kind of throw it in the school bus and go, and go down your checklist and go, oh, we left a shoe. Oh well, no big deal. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can just kind of throw and say, oh well, we forgot it. Sucks to be whoever's on there. It's and then a school bus. Why couldn't they have done it with a city bus? Why did it have to be a school bus? Or why don't they go to a junkyard and find an old car or find a broken down school bus? I just feel like how they went about this is really weird. I I don't know. Brandon,
Yeah,
what about you? Any opinion?
I just think they should be having a checklist and like double checking everything, especially with explosives. You should be very careful with those. Like, especially the CIA, you think they would know to make sure they have everything?
Well, they're the ones that have training. They have training with stuff like this, and I,
They failed their training.
well, apparently, because they left their explosive material behind. What would you have done if that would have went off? How big of a scene do you think that would have caused for everybody, or how big of a news story do you think that would have? This time it was just a little fluff story, but just kind of something that they threw in there. Oh, by the way,
All those parents would have lost their children, and
right, and I mean, a lot of people were probably sitting going, "Wait a minute, what? He left? They left what on where?" I mean, could you imagine being a school or a parent in one of those, like in that school district, going, "Wait a minute, what? There was explosive material on a bus, and I was not like." I mean, unless the parents were notified. But I mean, so I don't know. It could have been very bad. It could have, instead of being a fluff story, it could have been a 2-hour special about why, the CIA needs to not leave their stuff behind. I don't get it. It's one of those things. I'm sorry. If you're the CIA, you should, be able to take care of your explosives. Man, how do you leave it on a bus? How do you just leave it there? Apparently, it was under the hood. Is what I read.
they probably closed it and forgot about it.
Explosive material. You think you'd write a note and throw it on the hood?
And
This has explosive material.
it says they're training their dogs too, so their dog should have sensed that there's still explosives there.
Well, or when the last dog went through, kind of say, okay, well, we're done for the day, and that would be the first thing that you would do is just pull it up and go, oh, by the way, we should just pick this up now so we don't forget it.
It seems like the CIA should have like their own school bus to test them themselves in case this ever does happen. They have their own thing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It's to me, it's stupid. I mean, if you can't keep track of something like that, what are you doing protecting our government? So I don't know. Explosive material leaving on a school bus is just a bad idea. So, moving on to our next topic. So I can kind of get away from my rant that I'm going on. Um, a new cool thing that I found, and that I promise this is no more sadness and rage or anything. This is actually kind of a cool story. This story is about teens. Well, it's not really that cool. There's I should start off this way. Bullying is not what it used to be. There is now different ways that you can be a bully. You don't have to shove somebody up against a locker, shove them in a locker, give them a wedgie or anything like that. You can type a few words on a computer, send it off into the internet, and never see a reaction. And that makes it a lot harder to kind of, regulate and I mean, it's easier to track who it is that we to kind of track who sent it, but that it just kind of takes away the emotion of seeing the person's face when they're crying and see how it affects them. So one cool thing that Google is doing is they came out with a app that is called Rewrite. What it is a Google extension, and what it does is you download it, and it will, if you write something horrible to somebody, it will come up and say, hey, rethink this, or you shouldn't say this. And there's a lot of parents out there. Well,
It works.
there's a lot of parents out there that are like, oh, well, I could just fix the problem. Yeah, you would think that, but no, you can't.
I just tested it out on you. It works.
Did you?
Yeah.
I still got the message anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so it's it's to the point where teens want to do it themselves. They don't want their parents to kind of swoop in and help. They just want somebody, they want to take care of it themselves. And I feel like providing an app or an extension like this is something really cool that can that teens can use to prevent stuff like this or to prevent accidentally bullying somebody. Because there's sometimes that you can say something kidding around and you may not know that it's offensive to the other person. And to stop any confusion or to stop any mistakes like that, I overall I think it's a pretty cool idea. Um, on ABC they did bring in some teens and were talking to them about it, and they said basically the same thing, that they don't want their parents to really swoop in and kind of save them. And but it's also cool because that means that teens are or certain groups of teens are kind of banding together to try to not only just stop it and harass the bully about it, but try to figure out what the cause is of the situation. Why is that person bullying somebody else? And I think that's one thing that originally wasn't thought of in the beginning. They're like, oh, well, this person's a bully. Why don't we bully them back? Well, that's not the answer. And slowly over the years, it's come out that the more, if somebody's bullying somebody, then it's obviously there's something wrong at home, something wrong somewhere in their life. There's something that is bothering them, and instead of being able to talk to somebody about it, they kind of push their pain off on somebody else. Really, Brandon?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it was kind of cool to kind of hear what the different teens had to say about the different apps and stuff. Like one girl had said that an app she joined, it was just a messaging app. She joined in an hour after being on this app, she was bullied. And I'm sorry, but an hour after being on the app and but the cool part about it is she stopped. She's like, okay, I'm done with this. And she deleted it. She's like, I'm done with this, and I deleted it. And I think that's kind of cool. So, Brandon, you got any opinions on this?
A lot, but nobody really cares about his opinion, so. I brought you beef and beer.
Oh. I actually think this is a really good idea. because a lot of kids sometimes don't even know what they're doing, and it just kind of happens. So this might actually make me able to help them out, figure out what they're doing is wrong, and help other people.
And I also think, like I said before, it does help that we're figuring out that it is something where they have a problem in their life and not, just, hey, I want to hurt this person just because. So I think the fact that we're actually finding the root of, or the root cause of why a lot of people bully the way they do, or bully is because they do have a problem, but they either don't have a way to express it or they're afraid to talk to somebody about it. Um, which sucks because then the person that you're bullying, and this has come out in recent years too, um, has led to teen suicides. But that is not usually the only cause of teen suicides. There are other causes as well. But I mean, still, you're adding fuel to a fire that's, you know, if somebody's already having problems and they're already thinking about it, you bullying them is not helping out. But again, a note to the parents, you can't just swoop in and help either. Because, when you're in high school or middle school, when you're a teenager, you want to, be able to do stuff yourself. You don't want your parents to keep saving you and bailing you out. Well, most of them don't want people bailing them out because it's the part in their life when they kind of try to become independent. And yes, that leads to fighting and,
But you also don't want to back off completely and be where,
okay, if you're going to talk, you might as well talk on the microphone.
it's right there. I'm
There's
sure it
also
can
one
pick
right in
me
front
up.
of you.
This one's picking you up.
Yeah. But you can't just completely back out of your kid's life and just say, no, you're on your own. There's a difference between swooping in and helping them, and just talking to them at home and walking them through it.
And by the way, you also need to talk actually into the microphone.
I am. Shut up.
Anyway, joining us is my friend Anthony Kunze. Anthony, why don't you repeat what you just said?
Well, just because you're saying that, all these kids are saying you don't want your parents swooping in and saving you, doesn't mean you're going to want to necessarily just completely back off and let them handle it. You've also got the at-home interaction, talk with your fucking kids. It's not difficult. You can walk through it. Everybody's got their own life experiences being on one end of the spectrum or the other. As far as I know, I've never heard of anybody who has not either been the bully or has been bullied. I don't think there's anybody who has been, in neither party. So you need to bring your own life experiences and try to help walk them through it, guide them.
Well, and you also do have to remember that there are a lot of kids that sometimes their parents are the problem. Maybe they can't talk to their parents because they might be drunks or on drugs or something like that. There are a lot of kids who are like that, and some of them do become bullies because their parents beat them when they're at home. Or they're
Yes, but not all of them.
not all of them, but a lot of them, or some of them.
True enough.
But, and I never said that parent interaction isn't, it's not completely, you shouldn't interact with your child. You should. You should ask them how their day is going. And if you do find out that they're being bullied, try to figure out, you know, ask them questions. Ask them to.
Yeah, the trick is you're trying to give them the tools so they can handle it themselves versus you just going in and handling it. It's that way that's kind of the idea behind parenting. You're not trying to coddle them or just, where you end up with a 40-year-old man-child, Aaron. But, you're trying to teach them in a way where they can handle themselves so they can become fully grown adults, unlike Aaron.
I
But
am a fully grown adult. Thank you very much.
yeah, that's not what your girlfriend says.
Ha 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 ha. You're funny.
I know I am. I'm a lot funnier than you.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna be here all week. I'm just kidding.
um, no, I honestly do agree with you. It is the job's parents to kind of give their children tools to help them with the situation. I've never said any different. But there are a lot of parents that's hard. They want to just kind of swoop in and say, hey, don't hurt my kid, but that's not what you need to do. But there's a lot of different, like, a lot of parents and kids don't really see eye to eye. That's where a lot of the, fighting between teens and parents come in, is because, one, they're in a different generation than you. If you hear yourself uttering the phrase, well, when I was a kid, just stop right there. Because most of the time, it has changed since you were a kid. This whole cyberbullying thing, for a great example, is that, yeah, when you were a kid, bullies would walk up and down the hall, shove you in lockers and push you up against lockers and bully you that way. It's not like that anymore. There's not too many of those kind of bullies anymore. It's mostly, over somebody will send somebody a message. And the bully doesn't see the reaction on the person's face that they're bullying. So, if you walk up and go, oh, well, when I was a kid, this is how it was going to be, just stop. Don't say that. Listen to what your kid's saying. And, try to understand that their world is completely different than yours when you were younger.
I'm going to interrupt here because there's one thing that you're kind of skirting around and actually kind of negating. Human nature does not really change. The avenues about how we go about things, yes, they do change. But your experiences are still going to be applicable. Okay? We still, even you and I, kind of have that experience of living both sides of the digital age. Not as much as some others, but, when we were growing up, the internet still wasn't as big of a thing, or sometimes even really a thing, compared to what it is now. But yet, well, we still grew older, it started becoming, we were still in high school when cyberbullying and all of this was becoming an established thing. And, realistically, things haven't changed that much, just the way that people go about doing it. The things are exactly the same, just now it's the avenue. It's all about the medium. Now we have texting versus, talking behind somebody's back. Now you have social media versus, the people running around school. It's really, in a lot of ways, it is the same thing, just, as I said, a different medium.
And sometimes, I feel like sometimes that different medium does cause a little bit of a variance in the, I don't know how applicable it is. It is always applicable, but sometimes you just gotta kind of look at the situation a little bit better.
Yes, it does come with its own issues. You're right.
But before you finish, we are about to run out of time. In our second half, we have an exciting exciting segment to our second half. We have our Movie Madness Monday, and that's jam-packed full of new movies and a little bit of figures about how some of your favorite movies have been doing.
And hey, where's the liquor?
So, hope you'll join us in our second half. In case you don't, you can always check us out. Send us topics if you want us to talk about certain topics. I always encourage that. So anyway, I hope you join us in our second half.
And guys, even if you're just out there listening, just drop us a line. Say hi. We love to hear that. Just let us know y'all are out there.
And in case you don't see us in the second half, I'm Aaron Klingingsmith.
I'm Brandon Buffy.
And I am Anthony Coonsey, the one that everyone hates.
Signing off.